Hi everyone, I'm Jen from Meantime. In this video, we're going to go over everything you need to know to complete the Sing Noel tree skirt and ornament collection through our Collectible Christmas subscription. So if you're new around here, here's a quick recap. With the Sing Noel tree skirt and ornament collection, you'll create your own heirloom quality Christmas tree skirt and matching ornament collection based on the holiday songs that we all know and love. In your monthly delivery, you'll get everything you need to complete your projects, including a custom cut, pre-quilted tree skirt wedge made of gorgeous Riley Blake fabric. Let's get started. In this video, we're going to cover hooping the stabilizer and centering for one hooping, multiple hoopings, removing stabilizer, assembling your tree skirt, and some other resources. As I said earlier, every month, Collectible Christmas subscribers will make a tree skirt wedge and a coordinating ornament. Here are examples of some of the designs. The layout for the tree skirt wedge is the same every month. There will be an upper border garland, a lower border garland, and the main design in the center. There are two ways to stitch each tree skirt wedge. If you have an 8x12 hoop or larger, there's a file included to stitch all three parts in one single hooping. If you have a smaller hoop, such as a 5x7, each wedge will be stitched in three separate hoopings, one for the upper border, one for the lower border, and one for the main design. Let's start with how to hoop for a single hooping. If you have a larger hoop, you can stitch the tree skirt wedge in one single hooping. Here's a chart that shows which larger hoops can accommodate the single hooping version. We're going to use Kimberbell's Sticky Back Wash Away Stabilizer, which is available in the Meantime store at metimedelivered.com. Measure it so it covers the hoop. Now be aware the Sticky Back Stabilizer is a little bit thicker, so we're going to have to push a little bit harder on the hoop. We'll take the inner hoop out. You want the shiny side up because we're going to cut that out. Okay, so the shiny side up. Push down nice and hard. We need to take the shiny side off so that we can expose the sticky side of the stabilizer. There's different things that you can use. I like to use a seam ripper, but you could use a pin or a pair of scissors too. You just have to be really careful not to cut through the stabilizer. So you're going to score just around the hoop, just like so. And then you'll take your seam ripper and just kind of pull up on that paper and pull it right out. Just like that. And then it exposes the sticky part of the stabilizer. Now, we need to stitch some crosshairs on that. And in your files, you will get some crosshair files in there. I'm gonna take that to my machine and I'll be right back. This is our crosshairs, and this is gonna help us center the tree skirt wedge. Next thing we need to do is bring our tree skirt wedge over so that you guys can see. This is really important as we're trying to center our design here. Next, we need to measure and mark our tree skirt wedge. Here's the tree skirt wedge that you're going to receive every month. This is the top of the wedge. This is the bottom of the wedge. And the gray side is the back of the wedge. And this off-white subtle floral pattern is the top. Following the instructions on page 6, fold the wedge exactly in half. Clip to hold it. You're going to finger press the crease and mark with a water-soluble pen at 7 inches from the bottom. And I'll start here, measure up to 7 inches. All right, so right there. And I'm going to take a water-soluble pen and mark it. I'm going to go ahead and bring over my hoop again and show you how we're going to line this up. My folded side is going to line up here along this vertical stitch. And then my mark that I made here at the 7 inches, I'm going to line up with the horizontal crosshairs. So we'll just line it up just like that. Okay, so make sure sometimes you have to pick it up and move it again just to get it just right. And that should be all lined up. And then from there, this is sticky, so it's gonna hold the side down that I'm pressing. And then I'm gonna take off my binding clips here and fold it over and smooth it out. And that should be all ready to go for us to stitch on. If your largest hoop is a 5x7, then we have instructions for you how to do multiple hoopings. I've already hooped the sticky back stabilizer in a 5x7 hoop and stitched the centering crosshair files directly on the exposed sticky back stabilizer. We're going to take our tree skirt wedge again. Remember, the white is the top part, and we're going to fold it in half just like we did before. I'm going to align the bottom and clip them, and align the top, and put a binding clip here just to hold everything together and make sure it's all lined up really well. And then I'm going to finger press it down again, and we're going to measure. Now there's 3 parts to the design on the tree skirt. We have our top border design, our main center design, and our bottom border design. The important thing to remember is you want to stitch your top and bottom border design first, and very last you're going to do your main design. Otherwise, if you do your main design first, you're going to fold it and you don't want a big crease in your main design. Following the instructions on page 6, we're going to mark the back of our tree skirt wedge. 3 different points. Okay, we're going to mark 2 1/4 for our bottom design. So here's 2 1/4, and we'll center it right there. And then we're going to mark 7 1/2, and this will be our center design right there. And then we're going to mark up to 12 inches right up here. And that's where we will align them on our hoop. Okay, so let's start with our top design, our top border design. There's my mark here. Remember, we're going to line vertically the side of our tree skirt that we folded over, and then our mark will line up with our horizontal line right there. Okay, so that's nice and centered. Then we'll open it up and smooth it out, and we're ready to stitch. Now that we're done stitching the top border, we just need to take it out of the hoop and remove the stabilizer. For this one, we're just going to cut away the back of the stabilizer. For the others, we'll wash it away and show you how to do that. We've stitched out our top border and removed it from the hoop and stabilizer, and now we're going to stitch out the bottom border. We do the same thing by folding the fabric in half and lining up the bottom part of the wedge and clipping it. And then we're going to line the top and make sure those are lined up. And then we'll finger press it and just fold over the wedge like so. Now remember that we've already marked the bottom part where we're going to stitch. So we'll just go ahead and bring over our hoop that we've already put the stabilizer in and stitched out the crosshairs, and we'll line up our bottom. Now, one important thing to remember is I have a 5x7 hoop. My 5-inch here is not quite big enough for the bottom border. So in the instructions it will tell you, but we need to rotate our wedge so that it's pointing to the left. So instead of lining it up this way, I'm going to put the edge of my fabric wedge along this edge and find my point here, my mark, and line it up with the vertical part, just like so. If you forget to do that, then your border is going to be stitched the wrong way. So remember to follow the instructions and remember to figure out which way your wedge is going to be pointing. Okay, and then we'll just take off our binding clips. We'll open it up, smooth it out. The design on your embroidery machine is going to stitch the border this way, so you'll be just fine. Okay, we'll take it to our machine and stitch it out. We're done stitching out the bottom border. It's beautiful. I love how these borders coordinate together. We're ready to do our main design in the middle. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold our wedge in half, line up the bottom, put a clip on, hold it there, and then we'll fold and line up the top, and then press it. Pay close attention to your instructions for each design. Some designs are wider and some are taller, and that will change how you place your wedge for the center design. For some designs, you'll place it horizontally, and for some, you're going to place it vertically. Today, I'm stitching the first month's design, which is the Noel design. I know that's a little confusing since the whole collection is called Sing Noel. This center design is wider, so following the instructions at the bottom of page 7, we'll turn this wedge horizontally for the center design, with the top of the wedge pointing left. And then when it's all lined up, you'll take off your clips, unfold it, smooth it out, and you're ready to start stitching. We've finished stitching the main design, and now we need to take it out of the hoop and remove the stabilizer. In your first kit, you're going to receive this water brush pen. What you'll do is fill it up with water and then flip your hoop around. And here, we're just going to trace the design. Remember, we used a wash away stabilizer. So as we squeeze the water into the brush and trace it, we're just going to get everything nice and wet and then let it soak for just a little bit. We're going to let that soak for about 10-20 seconds. And then we'll just pull off our design. Okay, we'll just watch it just pull right out like that. We recommend using the water brush to remove the sticky back wash away stabilizer rather than completely submerging the wedge. Some of the red thread can bleed when fully submerged, and unless you've fully tested it, you don't want to risk any bleeding on your beautiful tree skirt. So then you'll just take your brush and you can brush away and make it look all nice, your stabilizer. And get rid of all the extra stabilizer that you don't want to have on the back of your tree skirt. All right, and then we're all finished with your first Sing Noel tree skirt wedge. Just a couple tips on assembling your tree skirt and putting all the wedges together. First of all, you're going to want to wait until the very end to assemble your tree skirt for 2 reasons. One, you might want to switch the order that they are in and maybe not do it the same order that we did it. Another reason is just as you're sewing them together, you want to make sure that your seam allowance is exactly the same. And if you're sewing them from month to month, you might not get the same seam allowance. Also, you want to wait because your very last kit, October of 2024, you're going to get the binding for your tree skirt. It will be all cut on the bias for you, ready to go. And once you have it all sewn together, we'll have a video for you in the fall of 2024 of how to put the binding on and finish your tree skirt. It's going to be beautiful. For more resources to help you create your tree skirt and ornaments throughout the year, check out the tips and tricks found in your digital files each month. Also, make sure you're subscribed to receive emails from MeTime because we'll be sending a link for a monthly video by Cassie to show you how to make each ornament. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any MeTime videos. Now go enjoy some well-deserved MeTime.